So I ask you, is it the pregnancy crisis centers offering deceptive trade practices, or is it the abortion industry? Because I've given you page after page after page of deceptive trade practices from the abortion industry. Pro-lifers stand against abortion because it devastatingly impacts two lives: the terminated life of the preborn child and the women who are physically harmed and emotionally traumatized by the dangerous procedure. And I say dangerous. It is a dangerous procedure. Countless studies have found that women experience a number of physical and psychological effects from having an abortion. There is no such thing as a safe abortion. If there was, it wouldn't be the fifth leading cause of maternal death in this country. The very nature of abortion makes the old adage of the procedure being safe, legal, and rare impossible. Women who get an abortion are likely to experience complications or death every year after an abortion over the following 10-year period. And in conclusion, and this sounds like, I'll let you guys figure it out for yourself, but this sounds like deceptive trade practice. Advocates of legalized abortion downplay or deny the health risks associated with abortion. Moreover, they skew and interpret information as the way to prove abortion is safe. However, as indicated above, a substantial amount of research indicates that abortion isolates women and can often cause both short and long-term physical and psychological harm. Again, I ask you, if we are wanting to protect the mental health of Coloradans, we cannot stand for deceptive trade practices from the abortion industry. Women considering abortion need and deserve to be told the facts about these risks. Women of Colorado, abortion centers are lying to you and being deceptive about their trade practices. Ask your legislators, the people you voted in, if they are listening when it comes time to vote on this bill. And if this bill wasn't bad enough, the worst part of this bill targets healthcare providers that engage in unprofessional conduct or is subject to discipline in the state if the healthcare provider provides, prescribes, administers, or attempts medication abortion reversal in the state. What? The state of pro-choice has now become the state of pro-abortion? Women in Colorado, this bill will now prevent you from changing your mind after you take the first abortion pill. Is that choice to you? I'm asking you guys out there, is that choice? For all the women who said to the government, take your hands off my body, the government will now double down on your ability to choose. I just stated that in Colorado, a pregnant individual has a fundamental right to continue a pregnancy. Not anymore, according to this bill. And I will completely dismantle the argument to this. Because as a healthcare provider, we must stand for truth over lies. The one study that the proponent witnesses used was the Crinan study. A whole 10 women. They had to be ended early when 2 patients that took the first abortion pill started hemorrhaging, and the study had to be stopped. They weren't the people in the control group that took progesterone. They were the people that took the abortion pill. And you want to talk about deceptive and unethical? The author of the study was paid to do the study by the maker of the first chemical drug for abortion, mifepristone, which has its own set of risks, including hemorrhage, infection, and potential long-term emotional consequences. In fact, the CDC has reported over 5,000 adverse reactions associated to chemical abortions. And listen, Colorado, zero to progesterone after taken to maintain a pregnancy. Some proponents were in opposition to progesterone for the lack of the randomized control trial, which my colleague from Louisville got up here to talk about. So I'm going to tell you my views of that one. But they were sure okay with the first abortion pill not being studied with a random control trial. So that's right, public. The first abortion pill, not studied under random control trial. But progesterone's been used for 50 years. We're going to go after that one. So I want to tell you why in this world of abortion care, we don't do RCTs like he quoted. Because if I am a woman that wants to keep my pregnancy, it is unethical for me to be in a trial that then gives me a chemical abortion pill to get rid of my pregnancy. That is what we call deceptive and unethical. On the adverse, if a woman wants to get rid of her baby and is given progesterone to keep her baby, then that is unethical as well. And that's why we don't do random control trials in this field of study. The majority of what we do in medicine is not based on random control trials. We know that CPR was not first introduced after a random control trial, but we know CPR actually saves lives. So maybe we should get rid of CPR now. As I just said, the research on safety, outcomes, and complications of medication, abortion is not based on RCTs, but we are okay with it being prescribed millions of times a year. Are we telling that to patients? Are we letting them know the consequences of taking the abortion pill could result in death? Because if not, that is deceptive trade practice. No, instead, we are sabotaging providers from prescribing medicine that can save their baby's life with zero harm to them or the baby. According to the National Institute of Health study, evidence-based medicine is about finding evidence and using that evidence to make clinical decisions. Physicians are encouraged to find the highest level of evidence to answer clinical questions, and this supports abortion pill reversal. So let's look at the evidence. Animal research, we've been doing it forever, right? We conclude things off of animal research. Animal research has confirmed that progesterone can block the effects of mifepristone. A large case series of 754 patients showed that high-dose progesterone more than doubled the chance of a continued pregnancy after mifepristone. In 2018, 500 women were given abortion pill reversal, had a successful pregnancy 68% of the time. And I will tell you, we had doctors testify. They're not telling people that this is a full safe method to have a baby. They're saying about 68% of the time, you can successfully keep your pregnancy after taking the first chemical abortion pill with zero risk to the baby and zero risk to you. Birth defects with progesterone are lower than the national average, and the risk of adverse reaction to progesterone is, ready? 0.005%. Progesterone has been used safely for over 50 years in pregnancy. And before you come up here and talk about it being used as off-label, then don't you dare come talk about it being used off-label as a puberty blocker. Because y'all are okay with it being used as a puberty blocker off-label, but you're not okay with it saving a baby's life. That is hypocrisy. When the intervention is low risk, like natural progesterone, and the potential benefit large, like a life saved, which is what we debate all the time. Isn't that what we said about the gun bills? Let's take away guns to save one life. Let's have drug injection sites so we can save one life. Well, I'm asking to save one life of a baby. Any evidence-based clinician not binded by ideology would choose to recommend APR. And any legislator banning it, in my opinion, is against a woman's right to choose. And the women of Colorado, you deserve to know that. The other argument was that the AMA and ACOG was against the APR. The AMA represents 25% of their doctors. What does that tell you? They don't even represent half the doctors here. ACOG has over 90% of their providers that don't even do abortions, meaning that they only represent 10% of doctors that do. Is that how we argue with stats like that? These two organizations have long been known as abortion rights advocates, but it should be unethical for them to not weigh the outstanding evidence supporting abortion pill reversal. It should also be known that Planned Parenthood receives 37% of funding from the government with excess of revenue of $70 million, and abortion makes up 90% of their pregnancy resolution centers. Not allowing women to even hear about abortion pill reversal if she changes her mind is an infringement on the ability for providers to give or talk about available treatment. It is the government picking winners and losers with the treatment of patients. Another argument in favor of this bill was that there is no trained medical personnel at pregnancy resource centers. Medical staff, and I'm going to read this to you. Pregnancy centers who offer ultrasounds or sexually transmitted infection testing and treatment have to fall under licensed medical professionals. Generally, the resource centers that are doing this fall under the license of an OBGYN if they're doing ultrasounds, because they then need someone to read those ultrasound images. And then under that license, there's usually some nurses or nurse practitioners who are conducting the testing, and sonographers who are also licensed or doing the pregnancy ultrasound. The scans are read by the OBGYN, who either offers his license to the clinic, or another medical director who agrees to read ultrasound is also a licensed medical provider. Pregnancy centers who offer post-abortion healing or other counseling have licensed counselors as well. Our Metro Denver areas in Colorado Springs is the larger ones I know for a fact that have licensed counselors for those services. Life Network centers in Colorado Springs. The Colorado Springs Pregnancy Centers currently have 8 staff registered nurses and 20 credentialed medical professionals and all who serve with them. All of their medical services are overseen by a medical director, an OBGYN who has delivered more than 6,000 babies in the community. They abide by the regulations and guidelines imposed on other medical facilities. Centers strictly adhere to HIPAA guidelines and other medical protocols. Nationally, over 60% of CareNet affiliates offer medical services staffed by licensed medical personnel. Also, you may have seen this, but we put together a fact sheet to rebuke the 12 most common lies that the pro-abortion groups behind this bill have been saying, and I can give you that information. So to say that these pregnancy resources don't have staffed medical personnel is an outright lie. Women in Colorado, I'm talking to you because I don't know that many in here are listening. This bill is the opposite of choice. This is about government controlling what you choose to do to your body, all the while supporters say, my body, my choice. APR is proven to be safe and effective. End of the sentence. American Association of Pro-Life OBGYNs, over 7,000 medical professionals. American College of Pediatricians, 600 doctors in 47 states. Catholic Medical Association, Christian Medical and Dental Association all support APR as being safe and effective. But really the evidence speaks for itself. Women have died after chemical abortion and surgical abortion, and 0 have died from progesterone. Women of Colorado, legislators will allow progesterone to be used off-label as a puberty blocker, but then say it's not for you to save your baby without any harm coming to you or your baby. The bill sponsors talk about truth. The truth is that the abortion industry is full of deceptive trade practices, and yet pregnancy resource centers are the target of this bill. No responsibility for the abortion industry to have truth and transparency. The truth is that abortion pill reversal is safe and effective. The truth is that this bill is not about choice at all, and I hope the women in Colorado are listening. I beg you to watch the way your legislators that you voted into office vote on this bill, because a yes vote on this bill is a no for choice. Thank you.